Red Bull Battlegrounds happened a couple of weekends ago.
Okay.
We were there. That took place in Boston. Before we even get started on anything, shout-outs to the Red Bull team. They are doing some great stuff there. The venue was really cool. They decked it out to look like the Union Station. They even built like the phone booth, the phone tower, and everything like that. But in my opinion, what the hell is this?
Wow.
Jesus.
Drop boxes. Crashing the party.
But honestly, the thing that I liked the most about what they did with Red Bull Battlegrounds was that they moved it to a different city. And I think that they're probably going to try to do that every year.
Yes. I met some folks there for the first time. That was very cool. Nice to meet you. Some of you are all in the chat. What's up, folks?
Yeah, a lot of the Boston players got to go to their first event. I talked to a ton of people that are like, this is my first fighting game event. And I think that's really cool.
Definitely.
I think taking the traveling tour around the country every year, like the Super Bowl, putting at a different city is really cool. I think that's really
100%
cool.
agree. And it's a great area, too, because as many people as live in Boston and New England in general, it doesn't have more than one significant tournament in a year, right? And, like, arguably even that. So I think it's great to have a relatively underserved area be served in that kind of a way.
Got to meet a bunch of those guys that I can see in the chat over
Yeah,
there.
Cape Bear,
Yeah.
Panama. Very cool. So anyway, yeah, I agree. That was nice. And it was also, I found myself thinking this thought today. I kind of wish it was colder.
It was so cold
I mean,
over there.
here. Because after having been in Boston, I was like, wow, I get to wear different clothes for a weekend. I kind of like the feel of cold weather for 3 days. Maybe 4 days.
Okay, I can see.
And then past that, you know... For example, at Thanksgiving, it was 95 degrees where my family lives for us, right?
Yeah.
So we came back into the scorching desert. Right now, it's not that hot, but it was that hot for a little while. So I like that. I wouldn't want to live out there and you're all cold weather, but I like to visit it. I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, look, I don't own a scarf. I don't own an overcoat or a coat. Like, I feel like I need to purchase one just for these trips, to be honest.
You probably should have one, yeah.
I do have a scarf. And it was given to me for free by the Lakers on a Christmas event Christmas game that we went to. They gave a free scarf to everybody. And that's the only scarf I've ever owned.
Why would an LA team give out a scarf?
It was Christmas, I guess.
I know,
it just was
but
Christmassy. But yeah, it was weird.
Still.
But literally, that's the only scarf I've ever owned. And when growing up, I didn't know there was a difference between a coat and a jacket.
I was the same way.
I
had
just
no
called
idea.
them coat and jacket, like interchangeable. I
Same.
didn't know why there was two words.
Same.
And so, you know, now that we travel a lot more and we end up in some... I mean, Boston was colder than Canada Cup. Boston was cold.
Yeah,
it was
Boston's
freezing
cold,
there.
dude.
Jeez, it was cold, dude.
Although it wasn't super cold for Boston. It was like 35. It can be worse.
Some people in SoCal are asking, wait, there's a difference?
There sure is.
Yeah. Jackets
There
are
sure
just nice little thin things that you put on. Coats are the ones that you put on that stop the weather, you know.
Dude.
So.
Yeah, also people use the word weather to mean, like, difference in temperature. I didn't know that growing up.
Wait, what do you mean?
People say, like you just said, you stop the weather.
Oh, okay.
Right? As if weather meant more than just, like, how it is generally around. People use that word in other climates to mean, like, wow, it's a different and cold climate right now. The weather.
Dude, so Super D's like, California's thing 60 degrees. It is like 60 degrees right now, and I am freezing. We have a heater on right here. Like, literally, this is the heater fan that's blowing right now, because I am freezing right now. I'm freezing right now. It's actually warm thanks to this thing. But when we first came down here, I was like, oh, it's so cold.
It must have been low 60s.
Dude, it was. I think it was around 60. Yeah, exactly.
Another place is 60 is t-shirt weather.
Yeah,
anyway,
I know, right?
So it was cool to be in Boston.
We're walking around Boston. I remember, I forgot who it was, but some dudes walking around in shorts and a t-shirt, and I was like, what?
That's weird, all right? So I went on a walking tour Monday morning because we didn't fly out until the afternoon, so I thought, all right, cool, I'm going to go see Boston sites. And even our tour guide, who had the world's thickest Boston accent and was clearly from there his whole life, he was cold.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
so
okay.
You know, it was actually cold.
Right.
By the way, that was very cool. You can walk around I did this thing called the Freedom Trail, which is about a 1.5 mile walk, and you see all the old, most important Revolutionary era sites.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
I would do that with you, except I can't wake up that early.
Yeah. No. It was
literally the night before, I think it was like me, Sajam, and Steve. You were like, I'm gonna wake up early and do all this stuff, and we're like, that sounds cool. If we can wake up, we'll do it with you. None of us did it except you.
It's just me.
It was just you.
Yeah. It was. We met at the Boston Common. That's where I picked up the tour. And then we went to like an old graveyard. We saw the new State House. We saw the old State House. We saw the old town hall. We saw where the Boston Massacre took place. We saw, I forget the name of the church or meeting place where like Sam Adams riled people up. What was the name of it? Faneuil House or whatever? The place where we went for... near the Cheers place.
That was Quincy Street.
Quincy, yeah.
Quincy Street
but
Market.
right next to that is an old meeting house called, I believe, Faneuil.
Okay.
But I don't. Anyway, it was very cool. I liked it a lot. All right. Anyway, let's talk about Red Bull Battlegrounds, which took place in that city. Street Fighter V. On day one, there was a qualification process. The last chance qualifier to be in the North American regional finals. We knew 7 of the 8 players who would be in the actual regional finals, who qualified there via points from ranking events. We had to find out who the last 8th person was.
And so there was a last chance, but some people are mentioning it's Faneuil Hall.
Yeah, no, it's definitely spelled Faneuil.
Right.
That's accurate. I don't remember exactly how it's pronounced. I think it was Faneuil, but I could be wrong.
Okay, I'm going to turn it off. It's actually getting a little toasty.
Kind of toasty in here.
It's actually getting a little toasty in here. Try.
So how did that go? How did the last chance qualifier go?
That last chance qualifier was great. It was awesome, and I can guarantee that most people in the audience and most people at home watching all lost their brain cells because Cool Kid dominated everyone with some Abigail, and it was some...
he got sent to losers early on.
Yeah.
And he had to make this super long, very impressive comeback. And I remember I talked with him a little bit afterward. He was kind of bummed that it was not at all on stream until he got into the top 8. Because he had to do a lot of work before that top 8. But, once it finally got there, he did super well.
Yeah, there was a lot of good players there. I mean, like you see in 7th place was Up to Snuff with Nikali, Eric C., again, from the Iowa region, because he was at the Iowa tournament that I was at, and he was the guy who sent Justin to losers with Fang. Fang at CEO.
Right, that's right.
5th place was XSK Samurai and General Kills.
Also
Fang, right.
I can't believe this isn't the first time that Fang made two appearances in one top 8.
Yeah.
I don't know that to be the truth, but like, how could that possibly have ever happened before?
Yeah, the only way it could have happened is if it was like Cien and Dominion. It's the only way that it could have happened, right? But what's interesting about this is, 4th place was SonicFox's JB with Rashid. 3rd place was Neon with Colleen.
That was awesome.
2nd place, Circa Wolfcrone with Laura. And 1st place, BXA, the Cool Kid 93 with Abigail. And as someone pointed out, it's Fang, Nikali, Fang, Rashid, Colleen, Laura, Abigail, and Akuma.
Okay.
Akuma is the only character that is not new to Street Fighter V who's in that top 8. Everybody else was new to Street Fighter V. So welcome to the new cast.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually really cool.
I like that a lot.
And yeah, Neon's Colleen was awesome, dude.
Oh yeah,
that was really, really cool to
100%.
see. And it was really, really good to see. I was glad to see Abigail, Neon, and Nephew, who was there, also did well with Colleen. A couple of Eds did really well there as well. I just liked seeing those characters being used and fleshed out. You know, it's just really cool to see that. It's really cool.
That's right, and Wolfcrone did use Zeku.
That's right. Yeah.
In fact, out of his pool, I forget who made it out in losers, but both winners, who was Wolfcrone, and losers made it out with Zeku.
Yeah.
There were a lot of Zeku on stream, actually. It's cool.
Zeku, I think he's kind of good.
I think he's good, too.
I think he's kind of good. Especially with like all the crazy stuff that Automatic has been putting work into him.
He thinks that he's top tier.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, so the one thing that I've discovered about Manat playing her is that there is no situation where you can knock down the opponent and get a meaty outside of sweep into quick rise into crouching medium kick. Like, that's it. Like, but that's just like not realistic, right? Because when you're sweeping people with Monat, you're usually far away enough that you can't do anything. But literally, she has no way to get any meaties. Zeku, on the other hand, everything leads to a meaty. He has advantage on every knockdown, so he just has 10 years for frame kills into set play, and so he's really good. And it's funny because you can see some players don't have any experience against him. The Gachikun Big Bird fight that we'll talk, that happened in the Red Bull Tower that we'll talk about. You could tell Gachikun had no idea what the hell was going on. He had no clue what was going on with that character. So, but Zeku is good.
Shoutouts to the Cool Kid for winning it. That was awesome. Wolfcrone did not seem to know the Abigail matchup very well, which, there are not so many Abigails out there. So
not a lot of people did.
Yeah, right, yeah, for sure. But before he played against Cool Kid, Wolfcrone seemed like he was going to march on through.
Oh, yeah, he was doing really well there. And, I know a lot of people know him as the heel kind of personality from, like, the E-League stints and all these things like that, but honestly, he's always been super talented. Yes. I mean, when I found out he was there, I was just like, he could easily take this. Easily take this, and he was right there. And it was just... And, I mean, it's crazy, too, because he knew he could take it. And you could see his mental fortitude just crumble while he was fighting against Abigail. It was tough. It was a tough situation, so...
Okay, well, congrats to the Cool Kid. So, for having won it, Red Bull flew out his wife Joy, like, immediately. We were talking with the guys at Red Bull afterward, and they said as soon as they found out that the Cool Kid had won it, immediately they were like, we gotta get Joy.
Dude, they even, for his segment in the top 8, they played the Joy documentary instead of his little piece first, right? I'm sad, too, because, like, I made a joke there. I don't think anybody noticed, but I was just like, shout outs to Red Bull. They do a lot of great things and for introducing Joy to the world. And like, you guys all, like you and Sajam and Steve, just like, I think you guys are like immune to the puns now, and it just like disappeared and like it just went over everybody's head. And either that or you guys just blocked it out. So
very possible.
And then TMZ, she was on TMZ.
Yeah.
What a weird timeline that we're in, dude. Like,
I don't think that's the first time a fighting game had it, right?
Well, we've been on World Star Hip Hop. I don't think we've been on TMZ before.
Maybe not on TMZ, yeah. All right, anyway, congrats to the Cool Kid who then qualified for the next day.
Yeah.
And what happened at the next day?
Unfortunately for the Cool Kid, he did go 0-2 afterwards. So everyone started in the winner's side bracket, and Cool Kid did not do well. But, I mean, there you see, first person he had to play was Punk, and he probably did a bunch of research the night before. And you could see, like, whenever he charged up for the unblockable, he just took it and, like, took less damage. Well. And then he played Gustavo, and Gustavo's had practice against a certain Abigail.
Yeah, he and I played a lot when Abigail was newer. A lot. And he came into that thinking that it was going to be a steamroll for Laura. He definitely beats me more than I beat him, for sure.
Right, yeah.
But he was like, wow, okay, I got to take this seriously. And then I know that he played a lot against LPN Abigail, too. So he's had a lot of experience against character, and you can really see that. What were the results?
The results were, 7th place was BXA the Cool Kid 93 with Abigail, and he did play some Rashid, and Justin Wong with Karen and Ed. He busted out Ed for a little bit. 5th place was 801 Strider, who we mentioned, with Laura, and Brian F. with Balrog. 4th place, Liquid Knuckle Dew with Kyle Armika. 3rd place, Rise Smug with Balrog. 2nd place, Idom with Laura. And Idom was defeated and blocked from making it into the Capcom Cup by none other than Panda Global's Punk.
Right.
Karin.
So, of course, this is to get into Capcom Cup. And winner of this would have done so had they not already qualified. So Punk and Smug and Dew and Strider and Justin...
We're just fighting for seeding.
Right, they're already in Capcom Cup. So if Cool Kid had won, or if Brian F. had won, or if Idom had won, they would have qualified for Capcom Cup. So, congrats to Punk. He's the best player. I still think. I've thought that most of the year. So congrats to him. But it would have been cool for Idom to have made it in. Yeah. Even if not Brian F. or if Cool Kid had made it in, I think that would have been really cool. But
Yeah, I mean, one of the interesting things about that, though, is that since Punk was first place already in the Capcom Pro Tour rankings, by him winning and gaining more points, it affected nothing.
Right.
He went from first to first. Right. So it didn't change any of the matchups. However, obviously the due coming out of Capcom Cup and Ricky getting in there is going to change a lot of the matchups.
That's true.
Which, I'm only happy about because then we don't have to have Itabashi and Snake Eyes fight each other in the first round. Because I want to see two Zangiefs do some damage, dude. I want to see the Gief salt.
For sure.
I want to see the guys getting mad at Gief, dude.
Yeah, that would have been.
It would have sucked if one of them had to take one out right away.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
There was a lot of money at stake. Yes, there was a lot of money at stake. So obviously, Punk is not just going to sit there and go, you know what, I'll let you go on. There's 100%. A lot of money there. There's a lot of money there.
100%. Yeah.
But it was a cool event. They even did some throwback stuff. They did some Super Turbo. They did Ultra Street Fighter 4. They did Third Strike. We got to commentate some Super Turbo and Third Strike. They flew out Odo-chan, Aniken, and who was the Necro player? Sugiyama. They flew out Sugiyama from Japan specifically just to play in those events. And Peppadai as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. I'm very happy that they are doing that. Mm-hmm. I think it's hilarious that of the Street Fighter 4 tournaments that have been run recently, because the Canada Cup had one. It's El Fuerte versus
Elena
in the grand final. I think that's hilarious. But you know me, I miss El Fuerte. So it's cool. Man.
I mean, look, I never minded Elena, but I know everybody hates Elena, and like a lot of people don't like Fuerte, so it's like so trolly. Dude.
Yeah, or it's super trolly. Yeah, but anyway, it is very cool. Yeah. I am super happy about Red Bull. We've talked about this many times in the past, but just to reiterate it, I am very happy that Red Bull does what they do. I think that their role is among the most important of anybody in terms of what's the phrase, non-endemic groups in the FGC, because theirs is not just let's show you the best. It is that, but it's also let's help the communities. Let's, make it so that there is something for individual scenes to play for. Proving Grounds was super awesome. They, like you said before, switched where Battlegrounds is. So awesome for the Seattle scene one year, awesome for the Boston scene next year. I would imagine they're going to switch it again next time, although I don't have any info on that. Right. But I would imagine it's going to happen somewhere else as well. They just have such a great bottom-up view of how fighting games should be, and as the FGC, that is what we have cared about the whole time. Is more of a bottom-up approach than the top-down approach, and they fit in perfectly with it. I love it.
What's great about that too is that they just have a history of that. It's not like that they're like, oh, hey, let's do it this way with the FGC. That's how they've done everything. Like when we're in the Red Bull headquarters and you see their, like they show a screen, they have TVs where they just show random Red Bull things, but it's just like, even in Asia, they have martial arts contests, they have breakdance, they have breakdancing stuff, not on top of the biking and the kayaking and crazy skydivers and parkour. Ski. They had that thing where people would build their own
Flugtag.
Flugtag, but they even had the car version of it too. Yeah. It was just like
they're very community oriented.
Yeah, they're cool. Really about that, and it's a successful formula for them, and so that's why I have a lot of confidence that they can do that well for the fighting game community.
I'm very happy about it.
And the people that we work with at Red Bull, they all are super excited about it. You know what I mean? Like every time you talk to them, they're just like so like, oh, this is so awesome. They're so happy with everything.
Yes, for sure. And two of the most important are big fighting game heads themselves. Brett and Ben are huge into fighting games, so it's not like they're like some outsiders coming in, whatever. And even for the people who are, because certainly a lot of the production staff is like that, they're not half-assing anything. It's very important to them that it all remain authentic. They don't want fake nonsense. They don't want fake hype. They just want the real stuff. Nice work over there.
Right, exactly.
Nice work.
And what do you think of that trailer?
Oh yes, we haven't talked about that yet. Do you want to move on to talking about that and the the Marvel thing and the Marvel trailer? Because there's more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of fighting games. But I mean, I guess this was a great transition to go from FGC news. From,
why not?
From tournament results. Well, actually, I've got a few more tournament results.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about tournament results first, and then we'll get to that trailer there. So.